Well, good morning, guys, and welcome to the show. We are at Knowledge Fest Orlando. We got this cool Bronco back here we're going to take a look at. Stay tuned. We're here with Sage from Sounds Good Stereo of Tennessee. Where are you guys located at?
Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
And he has done this amazing Bronco for Focal. Let's take a look. Have him tell us all about it.
It's a build just to basically represent all the brands that Orca sells. We used Focal, Mosconi, and Illusion product, and also iConnect's product in this build. So I just want to go through it and show you guys what's in it. First thing first, there's no cargo space left in it because I was allowed to do whatever I wanted, and I wanted to do a lot of equipment to make it loud and fun and display a lot of cool stuff. Amplification, you guys can see back here, we got a bunch of amps, 3 subs, some cool lighting, some nice simple fabrication that kind of matches what's going on in the vehicle. Let's start with amplification. There's 2 5-channel amplifiers, 3 1-channel amplifiers, and a 4-channel amplifier. Conventionally, we would do 2 5-channels maybe to run a whole car, or 1 5-channel to run a whole car. In this particular vehicle, we used 1 5-channel to run a half set of 3-ways, so a 6-inch, 3-inch mid-range and tweeter, and then on the other side we used another 5-channel to do the same thing, 6.5, 3-inch and tweeter. And then we have a 4-channel amplifier that's running the center channel, and we have a 4-channel amplifier, or the back 2 channels of that 4-channel are also running the rear speakers in the stock location in the soundbar. And then we have 3 more amplifiers, 3 110s running 3 10s. So a 110 running each Kevlar 25KX 10-inch sub.
How much power is that?
So it's overall about 6,000 watts of power total system. So there's about 3,000 watts of power on the inside mids and high speakers, and a 3,000 watts of power on bass.
So it's barely enough.
So it's just, yeah, it's almost enough. The whole idea of this build, when I build something, sound first, pretty second. I chose to use all these amplifiers, and so I had to come up with a creative way of fitting it all back here. So I came out with this design. It's a vented cabinet with three separate individual vented cabinets, each one's housing a 10-inch Kevlar subwoofer, vented. The whole inside of the cabinet's lined with Black Hole 5, computer designed. It's tuned to about 33 hertz. And then there's a window, an area window, which is about 80% of the cone area. It's a little over 80% of the cone area and the vent area to allow, so it didn't basically change the sound of the vented cabinet, but it actually did, to be honest with you. It's actually a little bit louder with it off, which is kind of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. You don't really know what's going to happen until you actually put it in the vehicle and test it. So it did change the tuning a little bit, which is fine. It still works great. One cool thing that I learned, because you guys can see that these 4 amplifiers are mounted in front of these subs, so there's actually a lot of energy on this wall right here that these amplifiers are mounted on. So it's double 3/4 inch MDF. And then actually our engineer at Focal said, hey man, why don't you, if you put Formica on each side of it, it's gonna make it a lot stronger. I'm like, there's no way that's possible, I don't believe you. And I did it, and it works amazingly. So if you have a long span, just adding a thin Formica on each side of that, actually I guess it creates like a composite, right? And stiffens that board, because I put it on each side, and trust me guys, it made a huge difference in rigidity.
So you pulled out the 80s and 90s Formica?
Yeah, but you can't see the Formica. It's just there for, the Formica is just here for rigidity, not cosmetics. So
oh, come on,
don't have, yeah. I was thinking about, you know, doing some flex stone, but we decided not to. So We just did the back. So all that under here, amplifiers are mounted. The box is completely carpeted where you can't see down inside. It's basically a wedge enclosure with a baffle going across the front to house the amplifiers, and then we made a trim panel to make it look all trimmed out and pretty. Added just one simple LED strip light here to give it a nice classy glow. You can't really see the LED even looking from the back seat this way, which turned out really well. So you see the light, you see the glow, but you don't see the LED light at all. There's actually an extra little acrylic painted trim that I added underneath the window shape to actually hide that light so you can't see it. And we did an Orca logo here in the middle. It doesn't light up because I didn't have enough time to match the white perfectly. I lit that up and it was like yellow. Ooh. So it didn't look good, so I just decided no lighting there. But yeah, it's just finished in a matching, it's color matched vinyl. We painted, there's acrylic trims that go around the amplifiers, a bent acrylic trim that trims out the top amplifiers and the subwoofer opening. And that's actually a bent piece of 1/4-inch acrylic that's then painted to match the actually dash location and the dash plastics in the vehicle. So that's just as simple. And then we, kind of my thing, I always like to, you guys have ever noticed, well, I like to always add a little bit of carpet in my installs, like the transition, because it comes down to a carpeted floor. So I added some carpet down here just to try to break up the transition, because this trim panel ends in carpet here and it ends in carpet in the back toward the back seat. So I just think it just adds a little bit of flavor to the install, gives it some more dimension. Having 3 different materials, 3 different things going on in an install, I think really makes it look really nice. There's actually behind the back seat here, a simple trim panel. There's some batteries back there, some system fusing. There's actually a switch back there to turn on and off the, put it in show mode and street mode. Basically, it switches the battery system. And there's actually also back here in the back, there's a built-in power supply for the vehicle because it goes to shows all the time, and there's a cord underneath the truck. We just plug it in, flip a switch, and we can show the system.
So this was built specifically for car shows?
Yes, absolutely. That's why there's no cargo space for him to put anything back here anymore. So yeah, let's go take a look inside. We utilized factory locations in the Bronco, which the Bronco comes with. There's 6.5-inch mid-bass locations in the kick panels. And from factory, there's actually a 4-inch speaker left and right on top of the dashboard. Actually, left, center, right, we fabricated new pods to house speakers on top of the dashboard. On each side, we have, obviously, the kick panel has a 6.5-inch KX3 mid-bass driver in the factory location. That factory location's heavy dampened with black hole. Actually, the whole floor, the doors, everything that we could get behind a panel is sound treated. Couldn't sound treat the roof because it's completely open, and that would look kind of bad. So getting back to the dashboard, 4-inch location there, we remade the location to house a KX3 mid and tweeter on each side. So it's a 3-inch Kevlar mid-range and a tweeter, laser cut out, acrylic, painted it to match the dash, kind of changed the grille mesh a little bit different. It actually matches kind of like the Bronco front grille. The original was like little round holes, so I changed it. Looks good. A lot of people think it looks OEM, which is, I like that.
I did.
Yeah, so it looks factory. There was just a little like cubby hole there in the middle. This particular truck is a base model truck. It didn't come with B&O, so there was no factory center. I think in the B&O trucks there is a center channel, but this truck didn't have one because it's a base model audio. So I made a grill for the center to house a 3-inch Illusion C3CX coaxial driver.
And those blend well together? Yeah,
they work great. This is not doing a crazy amount of work. I mean, it's time corrected for a center image. This just kind of reinforces the center, adds some depth to the soundstage, which is pretty cool. It images beautifully without it. This just adds a little extra stability. It actually helps with the left of center and right of center.
Okay.
Kind of interesting how that works. Something new for me, doing centers and rears. Before it was just 2-channel, 1 seat.
Really?
And this is still 1-seat car. but it does have rears and it does have a center and all that stuff, but it's still set up for the driver.
What'd you do in the rears?
In the rear, in the stock location, we did the Focal ES 100K kit, which is a 4-inch Kevlar mid and a tweeter. We just mounted the 4-inch. We actually had to cut off. It's a 2-tab 4-inch driver. The Kevlar is actually a cast frame driver, so we had to carefully cut those tabs off, taping up the driver, protecting it so we didn't get any metal shavings in the voice coil or anything. Cut those off, and that literally bolted right in to the location after heavily modifying the driver. And then we cut a hole in a flat spot below the factory grill. There's a perfect little flat spot there, and we were able to cut a hole perfectly in there with a router template and all this crazy work to get a little Kevlar tweeter popped right in there. So
wow, so you went full component in the rear.
Yeah, it's a two-way component because we didn't have a coaxial in the Kevlar line, and we wanted to keep everything Kevlar. We were actually going to try to do a Kevlar 4-inch or 3-inch tweeter in the center. It just didn't work out. The fitment wasn't right for us, so we ended up going with the Illusion, and it was nice because now we have a little bit of everything from Orca in here. You know, it came out good. It kind of looks stock inside.
Well, it's extremely
stock inside, and then you get to the back and you're like,
what the heck?
What the heck is going on?
There's two knobs right here. What are these for?
So 2 knobs in the center. We have sub-level, and we have, at the time, this was for master volume, because we're using a LD4C streaming module from Mosconi, so we can stream CD quality sound from your iPhone or Android phone directly to the processor.
Which processor is it?
So 8 to 12 aerospace. Full processing for the center channel. The rears, we're actually using a thing called cross mix in the rears, which adds, they don't sound, if I just played those for you, they don't sound like the front. They do some type of processing in the rear of the vehicle. You actually don't really notice they're on until you turn them off.
No, that's a new feature from...
It's a new feature from Mosconi. It's an algorithm that they came up with, and it works really well. It basically reinforces the front stage, gives you more width, more depth. If you're listening to it on, it gives you more space, right? The rears are on, the center's on. You feel like you can feel the experience. You turn them off, and it feels like something huge was taken away from you.
Really?
It's
I can't wait to hear that.
Very strange. Very strange, but it sounds amazing. It's a really good experience.
So every car now has rear fill?
Every car now, I'm doing rear fill, man. It's the way to go. Rear fill is amazing.
You heard it here, he's been sold.
I'm sold. Yeah, so, and then another cool thing that we're doing here is explain how we're playing the music in this vehicle. So like I said, we're streaming directly to a LD4C streaming module that's plugged right in to the Mosconi processor via an optical input. Originally, we have 2 knobs here in the center, one sub-level, one's volume control for the phone. We actually have a new feature on the Mosconi DSP. It's called Pilot Tone. So what's going on is the head unit through a thumb drive is actually playing right now we're playing a 17,000 hertz test tone to the processor. Then some technical stuff, we do a notch filter to remove the 17K so you can't hear it playing in the car. Processor reads this. When we turn up and down the volume, the processor's reading the voltage coming from the head unit, and then the processor copies that and turns up and down the volume of our optical in. So you can control the volume of any DAC, any external source, using a volume control from the radio. So
sorry about
super
that.
Cool.
Okay, now I understand what you were talking about. You were talking about that earlier, and I was like, wait, what? What's that point, guys? We're gonna take a moment here and listen to it, and we'll try to take you guys along and let you experience what I'm going to through the joys of a microphone and YouTube. It should be wonderful as always. Okay, so I have to say this. I spent a week at Emma listening to those cars.
Yeah.
And the biggest complaint I had was everybody's like, oh, does that sound good? I'm like, you guys really need to go over the States. This is exactly what you would hope it would be. It's just like KRX3's baby. You know, if you get the opportunity to ever hear a car that Sage has done or tuned, don't miss the opportunity to do it, because you'll be like, yeah, I want that. I want that. This is awesome.
Glad you like
those
that.
310s just smack the back out of you. But the nice thing, because it's KRX3s, it's like right there, and it's loud and it's dynamic, and it's like it's very balanced.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank
you.
You
Did a
man.
great job, man.
Appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, are you kidding me? We're gonna keep listening to it. I'm gonna end this because I don't want to have to sit here and let you guys listen to 3-second clips. I'd like to thank Orca for letting us hop in and film their car. I'd like to thank Sage. Where can they find you guys?
Soundsgoodstereo.com.
You guys do sell a bunch of stuff on there?
Yeah, we do sell a bunch of stuff. We do,
I did an amp rack of yours the other day.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, for an F-150.
How'd you like it?
It was awesome. I love the little aluminum pieces you do for the bottom.
Yeah, they work out real well.
Yeah, I was kind of
a lot
like...
of time in design of that.
I was like, God damn, what? Really? No, they're great.
Yeah.
Check them out. They make a lot of the things that you guys ask us for. They have it right on their website, and you can buy it from them, which I'm all for. That way, you know, help them out. Give them some love. Thanks again, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You guys have a great day as always. We'll see you there next time. Bye.